Hey everybody, it's Mr. Renner, and today we are going to be practicing how to draw conclusions and infer, which is the skill we did yesterday with kind of a cool little fantasy story about aliens, okay? I can't wait to share this with you. Let's get started. So we'll start. So this is, oops, sorry. If you all turn your books, there we go. Turn your books, please, to page 368, and we're going to find a story called Hello, Neptune, which is a fantasy story. A fantasy story is a story that can't really happen, but still is about regular people in ways that we can understand. But it can't happen because some things in it are impossible. For instance, there's usually a lot of magic, or maybe there's really, really fancy science. Um, Sometimes there's monsters and creatures, or in this case, aliens that you are just don't really exist or that we've never seen before. That means it is a fantasy story. And that's what this says here. A fantasy, this is going to be something that you need to put in your packet. So pay attention to that. It is called Hello, Neptune, and we're going to pay attention as we read to some very important details in the story so that we can infer later on. Remember, infer is to guess things that aren't actually in the story, but the author still wants us to know. It's called Hello, Neptune by Anne Weil. And just so you know, Anne Weil does a lot of these stories in this book. And she's usually really good about tying in the theme. Neptune is one of the planets that we've been reading for the last couple of days. And when we come back after the break, we're going to be reading even more stories about planets. Page 368. Let's get started. Adir and his friend Dennis were going home from school when Adir saw something strange in a hole. He reached in and pulled out a bright blue rock. A blue mist floated around it. Have you ever seen anything like this? Adir asked Dennis as he showed him the rock. Suddenly, an image of a boy appeared on the rock. The boy was blue. He was wearing a shiny silver suit. He had a long, rubbery neck and extra eyes at the ends of his tentacles. I really like this description because it's really good for visualizing. They did show you a picture right here, but the words right here can tell you what he looks like, even if you don't have the picture in front of you. The boy was blue. He was wearing a shiny silver suit. He had a long, rubbery neck and extra eyes on the ends of tentacles. Don't be afraid, said a friendly voice. Is the rock talking? Asked Dennis. Who are you? Asked the deer. Here's a picture of the two boys with their rock, and that is what came out of the rock. Is this something that could actually happen in real life, or is this fantasy? Yeah, what do you think? Whoa, look at that on page 369. Wow, look at all that. My name is not important, said the blue boy. I am glad you found my telecommunicator. I will be there soon to pick it up. What? Asked a deer. Besides, you're already here, aren't you? Not exactly, said the blue boy. I am on the planet your people call Neptune. Dennis and Adir looked at each other. Was this a joke? This is no joke, said the boy, as if he could read their minds. I'm on my way. The image disappeared into the thin mist. Adir put the rock back into the hole. What do we do now? He asked. Dennis looked up and pointed. He thought he saw a flash of bright blue across a cloud. I think we should hang around, Dennis said, watching the sky. Yeah, so he thinks, and this actually kind of gives you a big hint, even though it doesn't say it in the text in the story. But I think they saw a spaceship coming. All it says is he thought he saw a flash of bright blue across a cloud. But look what this is right here. And you can see it on your own. There's another thing that we could say about this story, and drawing conclusions. If we turn to this, I'm going to just show you this one tomorrow, and next week when we come back after the break, you will actually be able to see, you'll do more of this on your own. But let's do a couple of conclusions, okay? In the text, we take some parts of what the story tells us in the text. Then there's something that goes on in your head, and we draw a conclusion. We infer about it. So for instance, in the text, the blue boy seems really nice. In my head, I wonder what he'd be like when they meet in person. What is that going to be like for the kids? And then my conclusion, I think they might become friends. The kids seemed really excited. If you can look at the picture, oops, nope, not this one. If you look at the picture, the kids seem excited about the alien coming, and the alien seemed really nice. So I think they might become friends. Here's another conclusion we can draw. The blue kid isn't on Earth. He said in the text, I am on Neptune. He is on Neptune. But they could still talk to each other? How can they still talk to each other? Well, my conclusion, it doesn't tell us in the text, but my conclusion is, I bet the blue rock is sort of a phone. I'll just say that. And I'm not going to write this down, but another thing I can predict, and I'll just say this, so it doesn't tell us that that blue rock is a phone, but you can kind of tell by how we know that the blue boy isn't on Earth. Deer and Dennis are on Earth. They're still talking to each other, so it's sort of like a phone, right? Another thing we can see, if you look here, a deer saw something strange in a hole. He reached in and pulled out a bright blue round rock. A blue mist floated around it. Another text-to-text connection I can make. When something falls out of the sky and lands in a big hole on the earth, it's called a meteorite. I wonder if this is a meteorite. That's a conclusion I can draw. Because it says in the text that this came out of the sky. It says in another text that something that falls out of the sky is called a meteorite. I wonder if that's what this is. Your activity today is not going to be this page. Instead, we're going to jump ahead 2 pages here to Hello Neptune. The genre, I told you what kind of genre it is, and it says right here, it's fantasy. Who's telling the story? Are a deer, is he telling the story? Does a deer say, I found a rock in the ground? Or is the alien telling the story? Is the alien saying, I am going to call these 2 boys on Earth that found my telecommunicator? If it is first person, it means one of those characters is telling the story. If not, it is third person. And number 3 here, suddenly an image of a boy appeared on the rock. The boy was blue. He was wearing a shiny silver suit. He had a long, rubbery neck and extra eyes and the ends of tentacles. Don't be afraid, said the friendly voice. Is the rock talking? Asked Dennis. If you added the adjective loud to describe the voice Dennis hears, which group of words is written correctly? This is kind of a hard question, but for most of you, you'll be able to get it right. It's not something we teach you, but you have to put words like loud and words like friendly in a certain order. Which one sounds the best? And if you're not sure, you can just guess. You're probably going to be right. Is it a loud, friendly voice? Would it be a loud, friendly voice with a comma in it? Is it a friendly, loud voice with no comma? Or is it a friendly, comma, loud, comma voice? Which one sounds better? And good readers make inferences. He reached in, pulled a bright blue round rock. In your head, you can either write down the conclusion I drew about a meteor or the telephone, or you can come up with one of your own. Okay? And as always, if you need help, we will come and answer questions. Good luck, everybody. Have a good day.